Hey Rolling 20 fans, this is G, and I'm here to tell you today about a new sponsor for our show, Casey's Irish Pub. This is an honest-to-God, Boston or Chicago-style Irish pub located in downtown Los Angeles. They serve cooked food, 11 kinds of beer, and 49 different Irish whiskeys from 3 different distilleries. What does that mean? That means if you're looking for a good drink during a Los Angeles convention, you don't have to go far. If you're headed to Los Angeles for E3, Kamikaze, Anime Expo, the Los Angeles Car Show, or one of the hundreds of events happening near the Staples Center, then a good meal and a glass of Guinness is just a short walk away. Jeremy, the loud guy who won't shut up when we do our own podcast, he actually ate there during the last Anime Expo. And he said this. Forgive me if I don't sound like the guy. I went to Casey's Pub looking for a place to bring people for a good night of food and found it when I was driving people on my way back to the Los Angeles Convention Center. We went back and I had the best steak pot pie in my life down there. My wife had a good whiskey to sip, and 8 of us had fun talking and eating in a place that looked like it belonged in a movie. Casey's just a couple of blocks from the Westin Bonaventure. That means it's close to one of Anime Expo's own shuttle stops. We're even hosting a photo shoot there during the 2014 Anime Expo. If you want more details on that, email us at mspfreight@yahoo.com. Hey, so do yourself a favor. And don't stock up on bad beer and try to mix something sitting at the desk of your hotel room. Ride the elevator, get off at the Bonaventure, and walk to Casey's Irish Pub to get some drinks by their bartenders. Make some new memories and have some fun. We want to see you there.
Hello everybody, this is Anthony Bionis from Mission Star Podcast. By the time you're listening to this, either one, you're at Anime LA, or 2, you're watching the Awesome Games Done Quick Marathon like we are right now. With that, let me introduce you tonight to the cast of people that are going to be talking about all sorts of cool games and whatnot tonight. Greg Dietz and Chris Bionis.
Hey, what's up?
We didn't have this podcast before the end of the year a week ago or a couple days ago for our end of the year discussion for 2014. And so we took it upon ourselves to find that time and actually talk about last year's game of the year discussions and everything like that, and we got quite a list of stuff we actually played through the year. So before we get into what our game of the year for 2014 was, any particular games that stood out to you guys last year that you happened to play or you seen that was pretty cool?
Yeah. To answer your question, yes. As for what games, or game in general, I mean, the obvious one is Shovel Knight.
Yes. That game is fun.
Fun is an understatement.
Yes. I honestly feel that because I recently got a 3DS like a couple months ago, and I didn't mind the PC version of Shovel Knight. I played it, I beat it. But I feel like I would have felt better on 3DS. I feel like that would have been better as a mobile game.
Well, I only played it on 3DS.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't even get to play it on any other console but 3DS. And
was there anything extra on like either versions?
No.
Oh.
There was no benefit to either one. It was just
straight up.
it was just preference at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that makes sense. Or you could have both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing for me for Shovel Knight, and again, I talk about this in my review. I talk about this in my article that I wrote for it. It is the closest I'm ever going to get to a perfect game. They borrow from so many different NES titles, but they borrow the best things from those NES titles.
So it's just a mixture of the best of what you can get,
Absolutely.
of what you have.
But yeah, and but the other brilliant thing about it is they didn't borrow to the extent where you're just like, oh well, this is just from that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just from that thing. That's stupid. Why would
Yeah.
I play this? It's the best in a way that seems unique enough.
Uh-huh.
So I'll give you an example. Shovel Knight can do a downward strike with his shovel, and he can bounce off enemies like the pogo stick from DuckTales. However, he cannot bounce off the ground. So, whereas it seems like it's from DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck could do it entirely off the ground and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So it puts it on its own original spin on it.
Correct. The other thing, it has 8 bosses.
Yeah.
But you don't take their powers. You just beat them.
Hmm.
It has a leveling up system very similar to Zelda 2. It has an overworld map very similar to Super Mario Bros. 3. And it just executes these in just beautiful fashion. Plus, the character design is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm not super into 8-bit art, but the way that they made these characters look and feel and just function is so well made. Every single knight has its own ability, if you will, like different thing about them that makes them unique, that makes them different from the other knights or the other characters in the game. And they don't just do that with their visual style; they do that with their abilities too.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I totally agree. Each boss I felt had a different style artistically, and obviously had different powers. But I felt like the way they portrayed each boss in each stage was, I think, pretty interesting and cool in its own right. So I definitely get what you're saying, because I just beat it recently, so I was like, oh wow, this game is pretty good.
Right, yeah. I forgot you did that. Well, like one of the things that stands out to me the most is and the music. The music is fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god, yes, the music's so good. Oh man.
I just have the soundtrack on my phone. I listen to it when I want.
Yes.
It's just so like I struggled to find something wrong with the game, and I don't even remember what I chose. I don't even remember what my nitpick was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to say what or exactly it falls it fails in. My only thing I can think of is like there are times where some of the puzzles are really tough to figure out, but that's not really much of a complaint at all, because that's kind of how the game is designed, to make you think and figure out how to get through this one obstacle. And it's borrowing a lot of the classic NES hard difficulty type of style that was back then, that was brought into this game.
Right. One of the big things that ever since I started talking to a specific group of people that I know now, level design is a huge factor into what's being played. You don't want to play something that's boring in terms of level design. You don't want to play something that holds your hand. You want to play something that you look at and you go, I know how to get there. I just now have to use the skills that I've learned up to this point to get there.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And the first level does this beautifully. Now, I'm not going to go through everything that I talked about on the article that I wrote, but I will kind of summarize it. That first level teaches you how to play in the most unique way possible.
Yeah.
The first board, if you will, teaches you that you have to shovel, you have to press the button over like what looks like shiny stuff to get gold or get money, and that you can kill the enemies by shoveling them. There, in no way, shape, or form are you supposed to know you have this downward shovel strike. Now, if you accidentally come across it before the next section, fine. But the next section is there's a barrier. There are these bricks or these giant dirt blocks that are blocking your path, but the only way to hit them is by doing the downward strike. And you have not been taught this at any point. So now you're trying everything you can. You're jumping on them. Well, if you jump and accidentally press down on them, boom, the downward strike. You've learned it. And nothing taught you. And it gives the gamer that sense of eureka. I figured this out. I did this. Not the game telling me. I did it. That's amazing. That's the greatest thing on the planet a developer can do.
Yeah,
and why
they
that's
definitely don't hold your hand.
Yeah, and why that's not a more common thing is beyond me.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not a thing that just developers do nowadays. Like, I played a game on stream on Monday. Well, this comes out on Friday, so on Monday I played a game on stream, and Wednesday. The opening section is about 20 minutes long, and it's all tutorial.
Oh, God.
It is so boring. and I started to hate the game for it. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, I could gush about this game for hours. It's so good.
Right. What I will add about Shovel Knight is that it really helps that the music that's being composed is the guy who did Mega Man 2 music. So that kind of helps.
Some of the tracks. Most of the tracks were Jake Kaufman.
Oh, okay.
Who's done he's done Shantae, a couple things recently. Hang on, I'm looking it up right now because the stuff that Jake's done, you'll be like, whoa, he did that music? That's like, I love that music. But yeah, they got the woman who does a lot of the Mega Man music from back in the day to come and do Propeller Knight stage. And I want to say Polar Knight.
Okay.
But I don't remember for sure. I don't know, dude. I could talk about this game.
One last thing I will say about the game is that I remember hearing a conversation about this, and he brings up a good point. Like, if you showed this game to somebody who has never played games before, it would be a good introduction into video games as a whole, because I don't want to say, like, because of its graphics, you know, it harks back to, like, how we played games, how we figured out games and grew up with, but it teaches you everything about what a game is in the first, like you said, in the first stage. So a lot of the things that the game will teach you is, like, this is your shovel, this is how it works, this is how you jump, and this is, how exactly the game is going to work. But they do it in a way where it's not, like, explicitly telling you, like, look at this shovel, this is exactly what you should do, push A to do it. You actually kind of figure it out as you go. So, which I find that interesting, but also find that, like, relatively I agree with. So
I was just to continue on what you were saying. One of the other things that I absolutely adore and fascinates me to no end that it exists in this game, at least, is something that they even talked about on their website was, and I didn't even know that they had talked about it, I just loved it inherently. And what it is checkpoints. Couldn't think of the word checkpoints suddenly. In other games, checkpoints are arbitrary, it seems like. There's no real way to let the player know that that's a checkpoint. It just kind of like you get past the point and then you die and you're like, oh cool, I'm here. I'm not further back, or I'm not at the beginning of the level. And you just kind of continue and you move on and everything's hunky dory, everything's fine. But with this game, they go in the first level, they show you what a checkpoint is by having the checkpoints be invincible. And I'll get back to the invincible thing in a second here. the checkpoints have an orb on them. They have what looks like gold inside of them, and there was like golden wings. Well, chances are, if it's your first time playing, you're gonna die in the first level. Here, you're gonna die. But thankfully, you have infinite lives in the game because they didn't want to have it be that hard. Now there is a code you can put in to give infinite or to give continues and lives and all that jazz, but to make the game harder, which I have done and completed because I love this game too damn much. But so you see what those are, you die, you go back, and you're like, oh, those are checkpoints. Awesome. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the first level that you go to, the real first level, you get past the checkpoint, or you get up to a checkpoint, and you don't see the golden wings on it. You're like, that's interesting. So you hit it once with your shovel, and it cracks. And you're like, oh, I can break these? What happens if I break it? So you break it all the way, and you get all this gold, and you're like, oh my god, that's awesome. Shortly after that, breaking that, you die. You then get to see a screen that pulls the character back to wherever the last checkpoint was, and you get to see that if you broke the checkpoint, it's a broken checkpoint, and you don't get to go back to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that right there alone is amazing.
That's
Telling the player, this is your punishment for being greedy.
Yes, yes.
But without any text. The player discovering that.
Yeah.
It's the most brilliant way to have checkpoints in a game I have ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It allows players who are not good at the game to utilize those checkpoints, but then allows players who are good at the game and want a harder challenge to destroy those checkpoints. It is a choice-based system to make a difficulty curve that wouldn't normally be there.
Right, yeah, definitely.
That, like, I cannot say enough about how brilliant that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I talk about it being the best game of the year, it's not an arbitrary statement. It's something that I feel deeply about because it really cemented that not only can Kickstarter support great work, but people who are passionate about what they're doing can create great things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Create things from inspiration. Create things from wanting to just make a good game in general. And I urge anyone listening to this podcast right now, if you have not played Shovel Knight, please do. It is what, $15 on every system?
I haven't played the game, actually.
Yeah, it is $15. It was discounted.
Anthony.
Yeah, what's up?
It's your brother, right?
Yeah.
Let him play.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, sure. Like he can use my game or my cartridge to play it. But was it like, yeah, like it was like $15? It's $10. It was $10.
No, it was $10 on a sale.
Yeah, I was waiting for the sales to come out to get that
Yeah.
game.
Well, that's not gonna happen for a cool minute.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna happen for
Yeah.
a while.
No,
but
yeah.
yeah, definitely, I agree. I think he definitely should pick it up and check it out.
Yeah.
So over the past year in 2014, there was a lot of games that came out, and kind of looking back at some of the list. Some of the games that came out were pretty cool. I'm gonna take this moment to kind of splurge a little bit on the game I feel was awesome and great and possibly my game of the year. Was Hearthstone. Now, the little background about me is I cannot talk tonight. I play trading card games, mostly just Magic, and I play it every once in a while, or like, in and out with it when friends have it. And I had that kind of long history with playing it for such a long time. So when Hearthstone was announced, and I looked into it, it was basically, when I first saw it, my initial reaction was like, oh, so it's a simpler version of Magic. So I played it for a while. And it's interesting, because like what Hearthstone does better than Magic in terms of, because like Magic the Gathering has an online game as well, which is basically the same thing as like the physical game itself.
You're talking about like the Steam game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Hearthstone does that Magic the Gathering like kind of fails at, because like it's taken away a few things that Magic normally has that would hinder a player, while in Hearthstone it doesn't. So for instance, in Magic the Gathering, you got lands, which are your money, and you use that to do anything you want, to summon in monsters, to summon in spells, to do all sorts of shit. In Hearthstone, none of that is an issue. Every turn you get one mana or one crystal every turn, and depending on how you build your deck, build your deck. Sorry, I love burps coming out.
It's really interesting. I don't know how. I never had my voice crack playing.
But like every turn, like how you make your deck, you always have an option of something to play every turn, and you don't have to worry about that resource every time or getting screwed. It's such a simple thing that they made simple or they took away in Hearthstone compared to Magic, but it works so well. I can gush hours about the game. Like I can say like the way that kind of, I guess, the RNG or the randomness of the game. Like there is a lot of that in Hearthstone, because it is essentially a video game versus like a card game, and having that like kind of random factor in it is it's in there, but it's not as bad as other card games, because like you don't know which next card you're gonna get. But in Hearthstone, I honestly feel like with that, it adds a bit of I don't want to say excitement, but like it adds a bit of it keeps it interesting. It keeps it interesting, nevertheless. So overall, Hearthstone's pretty good. If you are into, oh, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I have to agree with you that I really did enjoy Hearthstone as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I only played the beta.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play the
the main game.
I didn't play the main game, and that was because like I had gotten my fill of it, and as I played it, I was like, this is actually really well built, really well made. So I'm with you. I think it's a great game. It's just it definitely wasn't in my wheelhouse of best game of the year.
Definitely. I mean, like there's definitely like games I've heard for Game of the Year contenders around our gaming websites. I put up Shovel Knight, Hearthstone, South Park, Stick of Truth.
That was definitely one of my favorite games.
Yeah. I think the one I find like the most unanimous game to be Game of the Year so far has been the Shadow of Mordor game.
Which I have yet to play that. I really want to, though. I've heard it's... Yeah, we've heard it's all, like, really fucking good.
So, I did get to play it. What I can say is don't play it on the old consoles.
Oh, no, yeah.
Play it on PC, PS4, or Xbox One, and that's because the Nemesis system does not exist on the old consoles.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a really big component that people always. That's like their first thing that they mention when they play the game, or when they have played the game, is the Nemesis system and how like awesome it is, or
What makes it so what makes that Nemesis system so entertaining is that you get to actually see how that functions as you progress through the game.
Yeah.
You get to see how that interferes with your character. So it's great. Like my only issue, and this is me personally, I had a hard time playing it because it's not the type of game that I normally play.
Oh,
And
sure.
there's a mission that I got to in the game that I about pulled my hair on
Oh, okay.
because I don't do stealth. So
Oh god, yeah, no. This is stealth mission.
there's a stealth mission that if you are spotted, you have to start over.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm the absolute worst at stealth games. I do not
Have
have
fun.
the patience for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
What I will say about that game is like, it is pretty striking and interesting that a lot of people who have it Game of the Year have also said that this system, this Nemesis system, should be put in place in other games like Assassin's Creed, like actually, well, Assassin's Creed mainly, but like other games, they want to have this system in place. And how long has it been where people have said that they want a system from a game to be put in other games? You don't hear that often.
You don't know.
You don't know. I have the game. I've yet to play it, but I've heard a lot.
Shall
of
we
good
say it
things.
again? You don't. You don't know.
you know, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, so definitely it's definitely a game that if you haven't played it, to check it out. Out of last year, was there any game you felt like was underrepresented or were kind of hidden with the games that came out last year?
That is a good question. I'm currently going through a list right now of games that came out this year, and I'm writing down games that I played that I adored.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't come across anything yet that stands out in that way for me. Like, I mean, if anything, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare got a bad rap. You know, it was like, it's for kids, it's dumb. But it was actually a really well built multiplayer game.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a little different with the class and play styles, but it was like drastically different from Team Fortress though. Like what was it? The one that eats everybody. It just eats. Like you don't have any ranged weapons like everybody, so you can get killed
Right.
easily. But
Yeah, the Chomper, yeah.
yeah, that was it.
Because the Chomper was all melee. He was a melee class, which
Yeah.
was unique, which different, because he wasn't very fast either. He had a shit ton of health,
Yeah.
and
Oh, too much.
yeah, well, I mean, he had to get real close,
Yeah.
so everyone else could just unload on him.
Uh-huh.
So I think it got a lot of flack for not being what either everyone wanted it to be or because it's for kids. And that's unfortunate because I mean, again, it's a good game.
Yeah, that's great.
It's interesting you say that too, because that system was built on what was it, Battlefield's was it they have like this name for their system they use in Battlefield 4.
It's the
Frostbite engine. There we go.
thank you, Frostbite. Yes.
Yeah, because it was
to not think of it.
yeah, it was built on that engine and it looks
Oh, wow.
really freaking good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, definitely. It's weird. I guess people make that comparison because of Plants vs Zombies from the original game, and they expected like the next game is going to be something similar or something maybe a bit different than that game. Like nobody expected to have a third-person shooter game.
Multiplayer third-person shooter online. Yeah, no. If you told me when Plants vs Zombies came out, like, oh, there's gonna be a shooter game, a third-person shooter this later in a couple of years, I'd be like, no, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say one game that, oddly enough, since we're still in the category of games that didn't get a whole lot of praise or didn't get a whole lot of attention,
Oh, sure.
and I played the living crap out of these. Like, I loved them so much. And granted, the first episode came out in 2013, but episodes 4 through 5 came out this year, and that's The Wolf Among Us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played the first 2 episodes and then I stopped. I've been meaning to finish that for the longest time.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like what I've heard is that people say is that, especially with other gaming podcasts, is that they felt that if there was any game besides Wolf Among Us that was not episodic, I think Wolf Among Us would have benefited more if it just came out as a full release with all the episodes
Oh,
instead of waiting. Because what the thing is, because I played Wolf Among Us for a bit, like up to like the episode 2 or 3, and like I say, I need to go back and finish it. But what I've heard, like as far as like the release of each episode was a bit longer or too long from each one. So there's a point of you come into the episode, and while you are reminded after episode what happened last episode, it doesn't give you the full context of what exactly happened in the last episode unless you replay it or look it up on YouTube.
mm,
So there was definitely the time of release of these episodes didn't help the game at all.
In that same argument, though, you could say that about The Walking Dead. Because
yeah.
the way that Telltale comes out with their episodic games is every 2 months.
Yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait a long time. Sometimes it's even longer, sometimes it's just shorter, you know?
Were they more consistent with season 1 of Walking Dead,
No.
or was it the same?
It was exactly the same.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah, they've been doing that since. I think they started doing that with The Walking Dead. I know the game that they did before that was not episodic, and it was also only on PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, they every series that they've come out with since they started doing Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us and whatnot are all bi-monthly.
Interesting. Okay. That's weird. I mean, that's what I've heard. People said that it was better if it was like wasn't episodic, but I mean, if that's exactly how Telltale does their thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't mind. I really don't mind waiting because sometimes, you know, and especially in The Walking Dead, you know, you make a decision at the end and you're like, well, shit, was that the right thing to do? Like, wait a minute. And then you have to wait a couple months for it, and then you have discussions with people, and then it's like, oh, well, you know, I did this, and then I did that. And it's like, well, that's really cool.
What's brilliant about these games is that there is no right and wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I think is so awesome. Like, every choice you make, it has a lasting effect on your story.
Oh, definitely.
It does.
And, for example, I don't know if you guys have played the first episode of the Game of Thrones, which came out this year.
I didn't, actually.
I did on stream.
Okay.
And I'll just put it this way. In Game of Thrones, the TV show, or the books, you don't get attached to characters. You just don't do it. Rule of thumb. For obvious reasons, if you've watched or read either one. The game is no different. Not by a long shot. And I got attached. And I legitimately cried on stream.
Oh.
So, I don't care if they're bi-monthly, tri-monthly, quad-monthly.
Yeah.
They're so well written and well made that I can't help but love them.
Yeah, I if they like just release this for the next couple of years, I'd buy them all. I mean, like, honestly.
Like, I'm gonna get the first episode of the Minecraft one.
Are you really? Yeah, and you know, that one I'm on the fence about, actually.
I would be on the fence about it if there hadn't been a Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Game of Thrones, and Borderlands.
Yeah, you got a good point. There is a good.
That's the only reason I
get there.
Yeah, it's like that. If you know, Bungie, I'm using Bungie as an example because I can't really think of another company at the moment, came out with a Halo map series, a multiplayer map game that was made with the Minecraft engine, and it was all like, you know, first person shooter. I'd absolutely get that because I know that they're good at making first person shooters.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know why I use Bungie because I can't stand Destiny, but
I was gonna say, like,
it was the first company that came to mind for some stupid reason. But the point is that if you trust a company enough, it shouldn't matter what they make. You should be excited for it.
That's
I know To some people that might sound stupid, because you should never give a company your immediate like attention or praise. But I mean, they've proven themselves 4 times in a row now. 5 times technically, if you count season 2 of Walking Dead.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the second season I didn't enjoy as much. I thought the story didn't really go anywhere, to be honest.
It didn't.
Yeah, it kind of just was like that was the last couple months of her life. You know, just letting you know.
Well, yeah, she's the main character. She's gonna die. That's just the way that The Walking. That's actually a funny thing I want to talk about real quick. That's really intriguing to me. When I had heard that they were doing, or that he was doing The Walking Dead, Jesus Christ, when Telltale was doing Borderlands, I got very like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I kind of got the same way.
You got Walking Dead over here, which is super serious and super sad, and then you got Wolf Among Us, which is very, very like tense.
Yeah,
very serious.
Uh-huh.
And then you got the upcoming Game of Thrones, which is gonna have to be very serious. And I trust them with Game of Thrones because they've proven themselves with the other 2 games.
Oh, yeah,
How are they gonna handle Borderlands? And it is just as funny as the games.
Oh yeah, no, the first episode was that was fantastic. I played it probably a couple days ago, if not like a week ago. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that's and if that doesn't go to show just how good Telltale is at making their games, then I don't know what is. You know, I think that. Go ahead.
I was saying, they finally found the formula, because I remember for a while, like, they were putting out adventure games that were, like, they were hit or miss. They weren't particularly, bad, but they weren't particularly great. And it wasn't until they, did Walking Dead that they really hit their stride in terms of what exactly works for them.
Oh, absolutely. Walking Dead was their first big
moneymaker. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that they did a Sam and Max game. They did a Back to the Future game.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't good.
I did not really enjoy much of the Back to the Future game.
Yeah.
It was really hard to like try to get through it, and it's like I can't do it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of reasons that one failed. It could have been, like the best thing that they do. I think this is also really intelligent. I should mention this. When you take a franchise that's famous for something, right? Movie, TV show, comic book, what the fuck ever.
Mm-hmm.
You need to exemplify those characters like they are shown in the story that you are taking from.
Mm-hmm.
And with Back to the Future, they were just replaying the movies.
Yeah.
I don't need to replay the movies.
Yeah, pretty much. It was redoing what I've already seen before, what I've heard before, and it's like, well, this.
And it wasn't as good as what I've seen before.
Yeah, basically.
But you take Walking Dead, you're playing as a different character, different group of characters. Sure, you may come in contact with characters you saw in the main story, but it's not completely necessary that they're there.
Yeah, it's their own thing, their own original.
Right. The Game of Thrones one is probably the most brilliant out of all of them, and that's because it takes place in the middle of or at the end of season 3, and it'll lead right into season 5 of the TV show.
Oh wow, that's good timing.
The other thing about it that's really fascinating is you do end up interacting with characters from the TV show,
Mm-hmm.
but in a very relaxed, non-important sort of way. Like, you're not going to have any influence on what happens unless the character, like, let's say this particular character does a thing in the show,
Mm-hmm.
and when you saw her do it in the show, there was no real explanation to her doing it in the show. But in the game, they're like, oh, we'll show an explanation.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with Game of Thrones, and I think that's rad.
That is.
With, like, Borderlands, they had almost complete freedom
Huh.
because of it taking place after Borderlands 2.
Oh yeah, sure.
They with oh my god, what's the other one they made? With Wolf Among Us,
Yeah.
they had a lot of freedom with that because it takes place before the first comic.
Hmm.
The only downside to making it as a prequel is you have to be careful of who you kill and don't kill.
Yeah, it sets up for the main.
Yeah,
'cause if they're-
that's true.
Yeah, if they're not dead in the first issue, then they can't die in the game.
Yeah, agreed. I think the one thing that actually before I talk about the other topic, Chris, was there any particular game that stood out to you from last year?
You mean just like any game?
Yeah.
I would say I was pleasantly surprised by Stick of Truth. And how well it played, I suppose. I was like, I was not expecting like a Paper Mario kind of style RPG, because I mean, I knew it was going to be an RPG, I just wasn't sure how it would be played. So, yeah, that was a really good, pleasant surprise. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. That was, yeah, it was fantastic.
It's funny. I loved the hell out of that game. It was easily one of the best games I played in the year. And after I got done playing it, I was trying to think of why. Why was it so good? And it's because they stuck to what South Park is.
Yeah.
The combat system was made in such a way that as a viewer of the show, I immediately went, this is the kid's imagination.
Yeah.
Because it's happened in the show many times. And that's why it works so well. Like, magic is farts. And you kind of go, oh, okay. But the boys, these boys would not pretend it's magic. They would just say it's straight up farting.
Yeah.
But they would act like it's magic. So it's this weird line that they cross. But there's other things you do in the game that are... It would clearly kill somebody, but they don't die.
Yeah.
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 And the fact it was written by the South Park crew, like the plot was anyway, and voiced by the South Park crew, like there's so many reasons why it worked. Finally a good fucking South Park game.
Yeah, it was just like one long episode of South Park that you could play, and it was just, everything was right about it, I felt.
Yeah, like none of the jokes or gags were too long or too annoying.
Yeah.
Everything went by in a nice, evenly pace. Like if you were to interchange everything in that game with a different story and different characters and whatnot, it'd still just be a good game. Just be a good game to play.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the surprising thing out of that game is that how well crafted is the RPG system. Like, people, like, to look back at South Park games, like, there weren't that many or at all good games. And this one finally, finally broke the tradition of bad games for South Park, and it was really good. And it goes to show that that RPG system they put in that game is really, really good. And the funny thing is, like, it's very simple too. It's not really complex.
It's easy to pick up, I wouldn't even say hard to master. It's just really easy to pick up and play. Anybody can get it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I don't play very many RPGs, and the RPG element, like when I play RPGs, I don't mind random battles. As a matter of fact, I hate when I'm walking from place to place and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Oh, all right. But I love RPGs where I can see the enemy and choose to fight them or not.
Oh yeah, that was definitely I love that too. That's a good mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely a good mechanic.
Definitely is. The one thing I was gonna say prior to this, the one thing that last year I felt like was more prevalent than in other years, like the amount of indie games that came out, and there were not only a few good ones, but there were like several several,
Boatload.
yeah, a buttload of great indie games that came out last year. And that was really cool. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I like my AAA titles, but I also like my indie titles
Yeah,
as well.
I think 2014 was more of a year of the indie games. A lot of releases.
Yep.
And a lot of crowdfunded releases and upcoming projects as well.
It definitely was. And the thing about it too was like it reminded me back in the day where like I'm like a teenager or like I'm 10 years old and I have no clue of what game is good or bad. I had to find them.
Oh yeah.
And that was the exact same feeling last year with some of the indie games or just games in general. I had to go and look for which ones were exactly good. And that was like a weird feeling at first. But it was like, oh shit, no wait, this is actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of indie games that came out that I didn't get to play though.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to play. The hell's it called? The guys that made Bastion.
Transistor.
Yeah, I didn't get to play Transistor at all, and I really wanted to.
Game.
Music's so good. Oh.
I also didn't get to play something like Crypt Dancer.
Crypt of the Necrodancer.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I haven't played that myself. I've heard good things about it though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna play so bad.
Other games to mention was Valiant Hearts, which is a really good game, a good side scroller. Binding of Isaac Rebirth, even though it's kind of a re-release, it was still an improvement of the last game.
What's fantastic, and I gotta say this real quick about Rebirth, haven't played either the original or Rebirth. Just throwing it out there. The fact that the Rebirth is 16-bit is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny part. There's an option in the game where you can actually take that filter off, and it's just a more refined version of the original art style in Binding of Isaac. But you can.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, so you can have the option to turn it on and off. But I like the 16-bit though.
Who would want to do that is beyond me.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. But yeah, I like the 16-bit art style though. It looks pretty sick. And also, I played the crap out of that game.
Binding of Isaac in general. Yeah, you're a big fan of that game. I played a little bit of it. It's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I would say that Binding of Isaac is. I don't want to say it is like the definition of what a roguelike is, but it shows is a pretty good example of one.
Yeah,
I don't know if Rogue Legacy came out this year. Or not this year, I'm sorry, in 2014.
That came out...
I think it did.
It was the 2014?
If it did, I definitely played that this year, or last year, and it was one of my top games.
Yeah, Rogue Legacy was a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, no, that came out last year.
Oh, so 2014.
2013. I'm
2013. Sorry. Okay.
Damn it.
The year.
Funny.
Look
yeah.
at the egg on my face.
but no, it's true. Rogue Legacy is a good game, and it's definitely another good example of what a roguelike is. But yeah, like again, like there was a ton of great indie games, that I feel like there were more great indie games than there were AAA title good games, because some of the AAA titles that were expected to be good didn't come out to be great at all. With examples we've kind of saw in the last year that we kind of expressed on this podcast prior.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, like, out of the games from last year, what was like the most disappointing games in your guys' opinion? I already know your I already know your answer, Greg. And
Go ahead.
Well, the obvious one is Destiny. If you've listened to this podcast, you've had a conversation with me, Destiny is extremely disappointing. There's a number of reasons why it is, but I'm not going to go into all of them. I just will say one word for each of them, and then you can just go with it. Story. Level design. Repetitiveness. What else was there that was just terrible?
Lack of things to do.
Lack of things to do. That's 3 words, but still.
Yes.
Wait, 4 words.
Content.
I don't know. Yeah, content was it's just no content.
Yeah.
Just none, pretty much. I talk about this a few times that you play the game, you beat it in 6 hours. You get to level 20, and then you start looking for armor to increase your light armor. And you keep repeating the same areas over and over and over. And then finally you get to the raid, which is like this holy grail of gameplay, apparently. And it has all these new elements, like these beams of light you have to keep on. These areas you have to figure out if it's the right one while fighting off bad guys. A stealth section, a platforming section. Why is none of that in the regular game?
Yeah. They dropped the ball on that one. They really did.
I don't think Bungie dropped the ball at all. I think Activision said, fuck you guys. I have this big thing about, I thoroughly believe that Activision held back a lot of content and story stuff for the sake of selling it as DLC later.
You're not the only one. Like, I've heard some similar stories as well. I've heard that there was, like, Destiny was a far different game where it started out than what it is now. So you're not alone in that camp. For me, like, in terms of disappointing game, or just a game I felt was going to deliver a lot of great things, but to be not as much, was Assassin's Creed Unity.
That was a disappointment.
That was a huge disappointment. I mean, I can get, like, there's going to be some glitches that it's going to be in a game regardless, and you can't fix everything.
Sure.
But when it comes down to a game where glitches are so prevalent, where it distraughts your own distraughts, but like it fucks with your time having fun with the game, that tells you something. And especially with the story too. Oh my god. But yeah, like man, the game just came out half finished. That game did not come out complete at all.
There was a lot of games that came out this year that were half finished.
Yeah, there's what was it? Batman Origins came out with a lot of reported glitches going on with. I don't know if it was the consoles too, but it was definitely the PC version. It was very buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Batman Origins came out. Are you talking about Arkham Origins?
No, the new one.
There was a new Batman game?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah, Batman Origins. It was the Batman game that was it was taking the route of Bruce Wayne being the younger, kind of more arrogant Batman.
Oh, no, you're right. No, no. This isn't Arkham Origins. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, what I just said.
Yeah, that did come out last year. There's 2013 because I was all about the multiplayer for that game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the multiplayer was great. It was 3 of Bane's thugs versus 3 of Joker's thugs, while 2 players were Batman and Robin. It was brilliant.
Oh, right. Good point. Yeah. But yeah, other games that were actually kind of broken, or broken in general, was when it came out, and I'm not sure if they fixed it yet, but it's the Master Chief Collection.
It's getting there. It's
still broken. Like it's getting there, but it's still broken.
Well, we stopped playing the Halo 5 beta because we couldn't find a match. As a matter of fact, I wanted to, and I don't know if I'm going to. I was gonna make a collage video of like cool shots or cool things that happened while I was playing it.
Yeah.
But it's just gonna be interlaced with shots of the loading screen. Or the lobby screen.
You're Microsoft. How do you fuck up Master Chief Collection? How do you fuck up a Halo game, of all things? And it's what, it's been like a month. No, it's been like
still not fixed.
Yeah, like over a month, and the multiplayer is still not fixed. The same reason that people bought the game initially to play. I don't get me wrong, the campaigns are awesome. The Halo 2 cinematics are fucking great.
But no one actually bought the Halo Master Chief Collection for Halo 2 Anniversary. Everyone bought it so that way you could hop into multiplayer and go like, Am I playing Halo 1 or am I playing Halo 2? Am I playing Halo 3 or am I playing Halo 4? You don't know until everyone votes.
Yeah.
You could hop
Oh,
between
that's
games.
cool.
Like, that's rad. That is
That
really
is.
cool.
That's a really cool fucking idea.
Why can't I play it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then there was a number of other games that came out this past year that were just not finished or not broken. I mean, it's nothing new in the game industry for a game to come out unfinished or broken. It was just
Yeah,
more.
but some of them are AAA titles.
I know.
mean, there was Little Big Planet 3 that came out, and I've heard it was buggy as shit when it came
It was
out.
buggy as hell.
I'm saying like it's more prevalent in 2014 than it was in previous years. And,
Oh, yeah.
And they were especially with big name titles, and we're talking the biggest names you can think of in the game industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's 2015. So hopefully developers will delay their fucking games, and
Yeah, hopefully they release full products that are not withholding content or... Yeah, I mean, one can dream,
yeah, we have to wait and see. I mean, maybe they'll learn. Maybe they'll figure something out.
Hopefully. Gotta cross your fingers.
I feel they eventually will. I see this, again, we are still going through a transitional phase in gaming, and everyone's learning and trying new things and seeing if it works. That's why people getting as angry as they did with Microsoft when Microsoft did our console's online only. Like,
Yeah, that
sure,
was...
sure, maybe don't do that. But also, hey, fans, maybe don't be such dickbags about it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. Speaking of 2015, what do you guys, and we talked about this in the last podcast, but any particular game you're looking forward to this year, or is there anything that you want to predict will happen in 2015? Because I remember last year I made a wild prediction and that shit didn't come true.
What was your prediction?
Oh my god.
To refresh the...
So I made this prediction because I am still of the mind of hoping Valve would heed my call and say, yes, Anthony, we'll tell you something about Half-Life 3, but that didn't happen. So no, that didn't happen.
No, Valve hasn't said shit about anything with a number 3 at the end of it.
No. Well,
I'm calling it this year. I'm calling it this time.
I want to believe.
Gonna be like,
I want to believe.
Phil's gonna come out and say, he's just gonna hold up his hand and he's gonna be having 3 fingers in the air, and then people are gonna be like, "What the fuck? No way!"
And then he announced Left 4 Dead 3.
What I want is at E3. I want so badly at E3 for Gabe to walk out at some conference, hold up the 3 fingers, and then across the board, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3.
That would be. I mean, I don't think TF3 would be for a while. I think Portal 3. I think Left 4 Dead 3. I think Half-Life 3. I think that would be crazy, but I think that's actually plausible if you think about it. Because
wouldn't it be the coolest? Like the world was breaking half. I mean,
yeah,
out there, but
yeah. Because here's my thinking when it comes to that. Last time Half-Life 2 came out, it came out with the orange box, and it came out the same time where they just introduced Source 2, or Source... No, was it Source 1? Or Source... Yeah, Source 1, my bad. They just introduced Source and the new Steam store and everything. It's in that entire thing set up for a huge release, and it sold gangbusters, and it was... in a few words, like really helped out Valve to where they are today, like one of the biggest game companies out there. My guess is that they are waiting until the Steam box is complete so that they can release that along with Source 2, along with Half-Life 3. That's my thinking, but I don't want to give myself too much hope.
Yeah, really, no.
Well, as I say, there's a few things coming out this year that I'm excited for. Early on, Get Out of Hell, Saints Row Get Out of Hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that. And Evolve.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm on
Like,
the... or go ahead, sorry.
I got to play the the alpha of Evolve, and I had a blast with it.
You know, I had the chance, I didn't take it. I don't know what happened.
Same here. I was kind of busy at the time, I think, but
the open beta to the Xbox One comes out on the 15th. I think it's the 15th and the 16th are the only 2 days for some reason.
Xbox One or Xbox 360 or both?
Just Xbox One. Well, the game only comes out on the new gen consoles.
Oh, that's true.
Gotcha. I'm still on the fence on that game, but I think what gives me, I guess, a bit of a positive view on it is the fact that the game is being made by the same guys who did Left 4 Dead. So,
That's true.
I am willing to try that out if I have the chance.
Yeah.
It's worth it, guys. I can tell you right now. Like, if you are on the fence about it, it is definitely a very fun game. Having this style of game where you have to think like a hunter, or you have to think like Prey. But the Prey is like this like gigantic, hulking creature. Like it's so good. It's
yeah,
it just makes you think differently than any other game does.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely is. I was gonna say, crap. In terms of what I'm looking forward to for 2015, I mean there are some games I'm looking out for, and I think in particular I'm just kind of hoping the same trend of indie games being really good from last year continues on to 2015. But in terms of a game I'm looking forward to, I think one of them is obviously Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Especially when they announced them with the PC version. Oh man, I was so excited. Funny story. So I was watching the press conference at my job, but I was doing my work, but I had it on my phone to the side, and like when they announced Metal Gear Solid 5 for PC, I was like, I looked around, I was just going nuts in my chair. I was like, oh fuck, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, yes! I was so excited. My coworkers were looking at me like, why are you so happy? He's like, I didn't say anything, but it's like, yeah. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 definitely is on my list for sure.
I don't think I'll ever be playing that, but I'll definitely be watching streams of it.
Oh,
Definitely.
There's too many games to name, though. Like,
yeah, there is. There definitely is.
You guys looking forward to Mighty Number 9?
Oh yes,
yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Boy.
Ah man, yeah. I just heard.
Few games. No, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I'm saying like they just announced like that game is done. Like now it's in the promotional.
Oh yeah. They just released the information that they're done and everything.
So they're in the promotional phase, so I'm excited. Ah.
Is there a release date to that?
At the moment, I'll have to look it up to find out. I don't think there is an official release. Maybe like kind of like in a gray area of like release first quarter of this year. But I have to look it up to see if they announce anything. But yeah, I'm excited for that game for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris, which any particular game you're excited for 2015?
Not any particular game, more just like a couple of them, Looking forward to the new Resident Evil, Revelations 2 coming out. Not sure about the episodic thing going on, but, we'll see how that goes. Looking forward to Bloodborne. That game looked really, really awesome. That game was like the one that was, like kind of like Dark Souls for the PS4.
Yeah, it was basically what I've seen and heard. It's like it's Dark Souls with guns, but in a very gothic time period, or a very gothic themed game. So
yeah, that game really impressed me. And Star Wars Battlefront, if it comes out,
is that coming out next?
It says holiday 2015, but we'll see.
You know what though? I just realized what if they planned this game to release the same day as
Oh,
Star
as
Wars?
the movie.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I mean, like same weekend or same month at least or
Oh my
something.
god, that'd be cool. I would enjoy the hell out of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of games that are coming out this year that we're all gonna be excited for. We're hoping that they come out fully functional and working and fun. So we, definitely. So before we end the show, two things. So I didn't get your prediction, Greg, of 2015. But any predictions as far as like what you want to see happen, or what do you think is going to come out this year?
I predict a new company will come out with a legit new console. I think that I don't know which company, possibly Google, because they did come out with something they did announce something the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think. See, I don't know. Like, I don't think we're getting any big announcements this year. I really don't. I think this year is going to be very dull. I want to see, like I said, I want to see a new company come out with a new console, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Watch,
I think
Sega's
year...
going to come back from the dead and then just release Dreamcast 2.
Wow.
Now, if I was to make an outrageous claim, it would be that Sony and Microsoft merged together to create the Super Console.
Oh my god.
To wipe out Nintendo altogether. Nintendo goes bankrupt and then
goes...
has to sign with Sony and Microsoft.
Nintendo goes nuclear.
That would be nuts. That'd be crazy. I think, that's one hell of a prediction. Yeah.
I went with realistic, and then I went with just asinine.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, my prediction is I predict that companies will delay their games, hopefully to make them more functional. But I also predict that as I look into my 8-ball right here, as I shake it up, for the year 2015, I predict that indie games are going to be more prevalent again this year than like last year, but on the same equal playing field as AAA titles. It's a bold prediction, but I'm gonna throw it out there and see if it works. And Chris, I think you already said your
Well, that was just my
Half-Life 3
up my ass kind of prediction. A realistic prediction? I don't know. DLC is gonna be around still. It's gonna be even worse. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope
really,
not.
I
really
can
don't
see
think
that.
much is going to change. I think that not much is going to change this year. A
Yeah.
lot of these companies are going to realize that they need to test their servers before they release things, and that's going to happen. But there's still going to be games with bugs. There's still going to be bad servers, and people are going to be mad about it. And then the companies are still going to try to figure out what to do, and it's just going to be a mess. So, I mean, we're not going to get out of this for a while, and this year's not going to change that.
Agreed. I think the one thing I just had a thought and it just vanished. Damn. What I was gonna ask though, so my last question for you guys, out of last year's games, like which one do you want to go back and play a game that you have not played but really want to? It can only be one though.
Go back from 2014 and play?
Yes.
Definitely Transistor.
Yeah, it was a great game. I wouldn't. Yeah, no, that was a fantastic game. For me personally, I'm not sure. Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Wolfenstein's a great game. Surprisingly a great game after the last game they put out. I remember playing that last game they put out. I felt dumb afterwards.
You felt dumb.
Well, because I just feel like I just wasted like a good hours of my life away.
Oh, sure.
It's like that. I guess it's okay. Like I didn't really get anything out of this, so yeah.
Yeah, this time I've heard the complete opposite.
Mhm. For me, there's one game in particular I want to go back and play and really want to finish or start playing, which I think I will do soon-ish. Is Bayonetta 2.
Oh yeah.
Bayonetta 2 was on top of many Game of the Year lists for many people from 2014, and that game, because I really loved the first game, Bayonetta. It is like crazy, over the top, zany, just kind of anime as anime can get game. And Bayonetta 2, which is
Sexy
more
as hell.
well. Can you really? Honestly,
Well.
honestly, can you really look at Bayonetta and say that she is that damn sexy? Like her body is so weird. Like her
I
neck.
was alright. Get defensive.
No. I'm just saying, just realistically. Like I'm cool if you were into that. So I mean, like, yeah, that's fine. But I'm just saying. But yeah, I do want to go back and play that game. That game is really fucking awesome, man. There's just more of it. But even just more crazier and zanier, which I fucking love. So, yeah, definitely that's the game for me. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me tonight for this podcast to talk about 2014 and all that entailed in it.
Yep.
Before we go, Greg, where can they find you on the internet?
I don't know. Just look for me. No, you can find me on Twitter at ChubRockGeek. You can I'm on Twitch. So the three places you can find me on Twitch. My own name, so just search for ChubRockGeek. I'll be streaming on the Mission Start Podcast Twitch page.
Mm-hmm.
And I stream every Wednesdays on Half Empty Energy Tank. I'd like to throw out there real quick, since it's awesome, and I probably should, just because, well. On the 23rd through the 26th, MagFest happens in Maryland, National Harbor, I think is what the city's called.
Mm-hmm.
MagFest stands for Music and Gaming Festival. At MagFest, Half Empty Energy Tank will be there streaming 72 hours of Mega Man games.
Oh, shit.
During the event, we are taking donations for Extra Life. We will have special guests there, like the Completionist. Hot Pepper Gaming will do a live review on stream.
Nice.
We're going to have a lot of artists there, like DJ Cutman and Mega Flare. We're going to have a live performance by Mega Flare, I believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's rad, and we got more coming too. Like things are in the works, things are happening.
Yeah.
So definitely come out there, throw a few buckets in the or a few buckets. There are a few dollars in the bucket. There's incentives. There's incentives for like people who like you can win things. I don't know what things they are yet, but I know you can win things. Last year they had a bunch of the artists that were at MagFest essentially donate their own music to give away as a like, hey, you donate $10 or more, you get this music.
That's
So
awesome.
I believe that's happening again. So yeah, definitely tune into that. 26th or 23rd to the 26th. Go to Half Empty Energy Tank on Twitch. Follow so that way you know it's coming up when it happens. Other than that, I got my reviews on the Mission Start podcast page. My YouTube account, which is you can find it under, if you search for I think it's Greg Dietz or Chub Rock, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a sporadic video game blog that I put up. Other than that, that's about it, guys.
Cool. Chris, where can I find you on the internet?
You can find me at my Twitter handle, Old Milk with a Q. That's really about it. I don't have anything else.
No, that's cool, because they can find you, Greg, and me on our website and this podcast at MissionStartPodcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube channel. I forgot to mention, you can follow me personally on Twitter at Defective Naruto. Just a couple notes I want to throw out there. By the time you're listening to this, 3 to 4 of us, the MSP staff, will be at Anime LA. We'll be there getting pictures, photo shoots, recording some video, and we actually will have a stream. And an update on that I'll put up a video up prior to this going up, so you should know by now that the streaming is still going to happen, but it won't be for the panels, but it's going to be for a general stream of just the overview of the pool area where majority of the cosplayers and everybody else is going to gather. So if you ever want to check out and see what's happening at Anime LA, just check into our stream. It'll be on our website for more details. If you want to directly just watch it on our YouTube channel, it will be live on there. Also, we'll have a Ustream channel live in the works to also check out too if you want to do it on that site. Anyways, with that, we'll see you guys next